Hi everybody. I had a request to do an example of a vector word problem from Khan Academy, so let's have a look at this example. Alright, let's see. We have a quadcopter, I guess that's a drone, and it's supposed to be flying in the direction of vector p. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that. It flies in the direction of vector a instead because the wind moved it off course, and we have to find the speed, that's going to be the magnitude of the wind vector, and also the direction. So first let's analyze this problem. Let's figure out what happened. How did this drone go from being on course of vector p to vector a instead? Well, what happened was the wind blew it off course. So visually, as a vector, you have this as your wind vector. The way you graphically add vectors, if you put them end to end, is you just follow the direction. So starting at its initial point here at the bottom left, it would be going along vector p. However, the vector that I drew in red blew it off course. So if you put these two vectors together, that's why we have the net result of vector a. And on a lot of these vector word problems, you can see I'm on number 2 out of 4. I did a previous example to get to this one. What you're going to have to do is draw this sort of picture. Now, this would be really small if I tried to draw it, so I'm going to draw it a little bit bigger over here. So here is the wind vector, and we have to analyze this wind vector. Like is very often the case when working with vectors, what you're going to have to do is construct a right triangle. So I'm going to draw the best I can and make a little right triangle. Now, either doing some arithmetic or counting on this grid, it looks like this bottom length is 2 and this length is 1. So we have to do two things. To find the speed of the wind, that's to find the magnitude of this vector. That's the length of the vector. So we can use our formula for magnitude, which is, of course, the Pythagorean theorem. So the length of this vector is the square root of 2 squared plus 1 squared. So that's going to be the square root of 5. And let's see, it says round your final answer to the nearest tenth. So I'll open up my calculator and type the square root of 5, and to round, let's see, press Control Enter. So 2.23. So in Khan Academy, let's see, to the nearest tenth, so that'd be 2.2. Now, if you mess up on this problem, the most likely reason I'm betting is with the direction. Because if you just look at this picture, let's say you didn't read the problem and you just saw this work on my video here, what you would probably be tempted to do is find this angle. Switch to the pen. Is you would be tempted to find this angle theta. Okay, well, let's say we wanted to find theta. You guys know your trig pretty well. You can say that the tangent of angle theta is opposite over adjacent is 1/2. That means theta is the inverse tangent of 1/2. And let's go back to the calculator for that. So let's see, we have the inverse tangent of 1/2. Control Enter. And let's see, we get 26.5 degrees, and I think the instructions said round to the nearest degree. 26.57, let's say. Okay, so theta is 26.57 degrees. And if you type that in, I would definitely get this problem wrong. And the reason is, if you read this parenthetical note, it says round your final answer to the nearest degree. Your answer should be between 0 and 360, which seems okay. But here's the really important part right here. It says assume 0 degrees as the rightward direction. So if you're considering This is the origin. If you want to talk about the direction of that vector, what it's wanting you to do is measure the angle just like you would on the unit circle. So because we have 26.57 degrees as this angle theta, we can find this angle. It's no big deal, but if you don't do that, you're definitely gonna have a bad time on this problem. So let's see. Half a circle is 180. So if we take 180 and you subtract 26.57, we should get the right answer. Now I don't trust myself to do arithmetic properly at this time of day, so let's just see. We have 180 minus 26.57, meaning that that angle is 153.4, and we do have to round to the nearest degree. So let's see, that's going to be 153 degrees. So if I've done this properly, the direction is 153. All right, let's check our answer. All right, it's correct. So the direction of these vectors is going to be the problem. You're going to have to adjust your right triangle trig answer by subtracting from 180, adding on to 180. So just draw a really nice diagram, and that should solve most of your problems. So for example, I did a prior problem, and the vector that I had to draw looked something like that. And I did my right triangle trig, and I found this angle theta. However, the direction of the vector is always drawn like we would on the unit circle. So when I found this angle theta, I had to add a half circle. I had to add 180 onto it. So draw a really nice diagram and see if that helps. Once again, if you checked your email, do the best you can on this assignment. If you need some extra time, it's perfectly fine. We'll take advantage of this e-learning and be kind of lenient on the due dates. If you want some extra help, just let me know. If there's one particular problem and you just don't know why you're getting the wrong answer, just remember on Khan Academy you can click this link where it says watch a video or use a hint, and if you get a hint, it will work through the problem. Now unfortunately we'll count the problem wrong and you have to redo the assignment. I know you guys don't like that very much, but it is it will definitely explain the problem in some detail. If their explanation isn't all that wonderful, just let me know. I can make a video or I can reply to your email. Anyway, I hope this helped. Just let me know if you guys need anything else, and I will do what I can. See you next time.